Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Barks, the one with bite. What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Barks has bite? Johnny? What do you mean Barks has bite? Oh, hey, man. What do you mean Barks has bite? Here, try some of this. Ouch. I haven't seen him that excited since he got his heels. Ouch. You tell him, Johnny. You tell the world.
That piece of 1990s advertising gold can mean only one thing. Can you imagine some Barks root beer?
Oh, I love it.
With some North Carolina barbecue? It'd be the perfect meal. It can mean only one thing, a visit from Vancouver Giants GM Barclay Parneta. Their next home game Saturday against Kelowna, although they play tonight at Kamloops after a couple of losses in Prince George. Barclay Parneta joining us now. Barclay, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
I am fine. I'm actually calling in the beautiful town of Kamloops today. So,
lovely.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Hey,
no.
We have a lot of listeners and viewers up there. Barclay, how do you, and I know we get accused of beating a dead horse when it comes to the Canucks situation these days, but how do you handle, and you've been around hockey for a long time, I'm sure you've had to handle this, how do you handle two players not getting along in the dressing room, off the ice, whatever the case may be? Two of your players.
We've never really had to deal with that. We've been pretty fortunate, so I don't have any experience in dealing with something like that.
Are you kidding?
Come on,
you're smiling. I'm not. I do not believe you.
You're okay. I see what you're doing.
I've been watching a lot of the politics stuff there with the government and everything, so I'm getting pretty good at my answers.
No, that was excellent, by the way.
Wonderful,
excellent. But seriously, how do you deal with it, or do you deal with it? Do you let it just play the course?
I don't. In all honesty, since I've been a general manager, we haven't had a rift.
Okay.
With two people in a dressing room to that extent. However, we definitely vet. Like if we're making a trade for a new player that we don't know a lot about, we often will try to find out the connections and if there was a history between people. And I think that potentially you might even avoid doing something if you know that two players do not get along.
Hey, Barclay, as for your team, it was on a roll. I believe that it won 6 of 7, and then you go up to Prince George and lose a couple of games. Maybe understandable because that's one of the better teams in the Western Hockey League. Would you agree?
You know what? I don't want to take anything away from Prince George, but we definitely should have won the second game. Both games were super competitive. So I think that if we can find the consistency and stay disciplined, I think we're as good as any team in this conference. And that's sort of why leading into and through the trade deadline that, I really have seen our team hit high marks this year. I really believe it's there. We just haven't maintained it over the consistent period of time. We had the run after Christmas, but I think we're building towards that. And I'll tell you what, right now, there's no team that I'm worried about facing in the playoffs in the first round.
Hey, Bark, some crazy trades in the Western Hockey League. Big names going, big prices, first-round picks, a lot of big names moving. You didn't get involved in that. Talk a little bit about your strategy at the trade deadline.
Well, I think we looked at tinkering more than any big deals. Like I said, I do believe in the group that we have. I think we've got a very offensive, talented group here. So, we did acquire, we did swap out 20s, and we acquired Maxim Marinov from Wenatchee, who had been traded from Calgary, and he's a heavier, harder player, which is something that we needed to add to our lineup. And I think when the people get to see him back in Langley, they're going to see that he's a welcome addition to what we needed to put into our mix.
Hey, Bart, goals for, you guys are great, 6th in the Western League, but goals against has been a problem all year long. You did acquire a goaltender. You think you can stop the leak in there with that?
I hope so. Like I have to be honest. Like the two goalies that we had were excellent, and I think they're both going to be tremendous goalies, both Matthew Hutchison and Hoodie. But we lacked consistency in that area, and certainly the stats up until the deadline showed that when we looked at the percentages and whatnot. And so adding a guy that's a year older, I think will help sort of stabilize it. Brady's a local kid. He's from Cloverdale, and we've seen him play a lot of really good games. So like I said, I really hope that this sort of stabilizes things and gives us a chance to win every night.
And you're talking about Brady Smith. And Barclay, before we let you go, this is the first time we've had you on in a while. No medals for Canada in 2 straight World Junior Hockey Championships. Does that say something about our development system?
I don't think it necessarily says something about the development system. I think it's unfortunate. I worked in the international level at the U17s, the format, and really, they get one win there, and we're not talking about this. It's really a one game knockout tournament almost. Everybody can criticize and say what they want, but the people that were doing that job, like Dave Cameron, didn't need to come back and do that. He did that because he loves his country and he wanted to do it. Obviously, results weren't there, but that guy didn't need to come and do that. It's no benefit for him. And then even the management staff, and I do have to preface, I am on the advisory committee, so I'm slightly involved in the selection process from the Western League, identifying players, and then it's sort of removed from that once it moves to the next level. But all those people thought they were doing the right things to build the best team they could for Canada. That's what I will say. And same with the kids. All those kids, it was disappointing to see the undisciplined penalties. They couldn't get it together. It seemed to sort of unravel quick, but really, they gave their best effort. And if brings changes, potentially, maybe, I don't know, if there's a full-time person doing that role, it's a lot of work to have a management team that are also running CHL teams, possibly. I'm not sure, but I do believe, under the leadership of Scotty Salmon, they're trying to do their best. There's no doubt about it.
Have a good time in Kamloops. Good luck tonight, Barclay.
Take care, fellas.